Hello, my friends. Jerry Rosa here in the Rosa String Works Man Cave with another play-along series. We've got 5 tunes picked out for you, 4 of which I think are just really top-notch songs. The 5th one being one that I wrote. They're going to get progressively tougher as we go. The first one is slow and reasonably easy to play, I think. The first one is just 1-4-5. It's called She's Walking Through My Memory. Russell Moore had it out with Doyle Lawson and Quicksilver, and then I think later he did it with his own band, Third Time Out. But anyway, it's a really, really good song. There is a part on it, though, that I would say 85% of the people playing it miss. And it's just a very subtle, quick change. It's in the chorus. After the first line of the chorus, I believe it is, and I didn't write this down or check this out, but it's really close to the first line of the chorus. You'll see me go from C to G and then to another chord, but it drops down to that 1. So G is 1. We're going to play this in G, so it's 1-4-5 in G. So G, C, D are your chords. And anyway, in the chorus, after that first line, I think on that first line we'll be in a C, a 4, and we're going to drop back down to a 1. And it's a real subtle change, but most people miss that. So try to see me do that and try not to miss that. That's the tricky part of the song. And it's not tricky. It's just that you don't expect it, I guess. Got my Arnold Palmer there. Let's see. All right, here we go. We're going to give it a shot. Somewhere in my thoughts there lives a lady. She's walking back and forth across my mind, blocking out each chance of me forgetting, assuring me she'll be there for some time. Her golden hair is tied around my memory. No, it's a little bit later. That pain she left with me is here to stay. There it was. I'm doing all I can to go on living, and yet I die a little more each day. And if I could, I'd play a real fantastic break right there. Now that I'm alone with just her memory, I've had some time for counting my mistakes. Loving her stands out from all the others, but that was one I couldn't help but make. Funny how some thoughts can be so painful, and how they just refuse to go away. I'm doing all I can to go on living, and yet I die a little more each day. She lets me die a little more each day. Okay, and it's not a real big deal if you miss that G there in that chorus. It's just that lots of people do. I've just noticed it over the years because I sing that song a lot in different jams and things, and lots of people miss that. It's especially bad when the bass misses it. because you're trying to sing, and when the bass doesn't hit that chord, it's tough when you're singing. But so we're gonna go through that chorus again, and watch, and I'll kind of emphasize it so that you'll know the chord I'm talking about. Funny how some thoughts can be so painful, and how they just refuse to go away. I'm doing all I can to go on living, and yet I die a little more each day. She lets me die a little more each day. And on that recap there, all I'm doing was just going from the 5, dropping down to the 4, and holding that, and then coming back to the 1 to end it. Very good song. That's just a beautiful song, I think. This next song, I'm sure you've heard me do it a time or two on the channel. I always did like... I can never think of somebody's name. I can see his face. I know who he is. The guy that wrote all the yodel songs. They called him I think he was the father of country music. And I can't think of his name for nothing right now. T.B. Blues. And this song is just 1-4-5, but it's going to start in D this time. So D is going to be 1, 4 is going to be your G, and 5 will be your A. Okay? So 1, 4, 5. Now this is a yodel song. Now let me give you one little tip about yodeling. People think it's really hard and think it's just impossible, but it's really not. It's actually fairly easy. Of course, it is a voice control thing, but one of the things you can do to do a simple yodel, and that's all I'm doing in this song, it's not a super complicated yodel, is I'm just, like on the old TV show, Hee-Haw. Well, instead of saying hee-haw, you could say that if you wanted to. You could just say yee-haw. Yee-haw. You know, yee-haw. Yee is the yodel. Yodelay, yee, yodelay. So there's your yodel right there. That's all there is to it, really. It's just voice control. But anyway, we're going to give it a shot here. It's in 1-4-5 in the key of D. 1-4-5. My good gal's trying to make a fool out of me. Yeah, my gal's trying to make a fool out of me. She's trying to make me believe I ain't got the old TB. And I've got the TB blues. Trying to think of the next line I like to say. I don't have to sing that one, but that's what I was going to... I can't think of it right now. I got the old TB, I can't eat a bite. Got that old TB, Lord, I can't eat a bite. It's got me worried so, can't even sleep at night. And I got the TB blues. When it rained down, sorrow rained all over me, Lord, Lord. When it rained down, sorrow rained all over me. Now my body rattles like a train on the old SB, and I got the TB blues. Oh. Well, that old graveyard, it's a lonesome place. That old graveyard is a lonesome place. They turn you on your back, throw that dirt down in your face. And I got the TB blues. When it rained down, sorrow rained over me, Lord, Lord. When it rained down, sorrow rained over me. Now my body rattles like a train on the old SP. Yeah, I got the TB blues. I got the TB blues. I still can't think of his name. But picking that first break reminded me of the verse I couldn't remember. That's what happens a lot of times, and you'll find this out. You'll find it out one way or the other, the hard way sometimes. And that is, once you get an arrangement worked up, if you vary from that arrangement, it'll throw off your words. And that's what it was there. As I used to, after that first verse, I usually pick a break while the band's playing, of course. And then I come back in singing, when it rained down sorrow, but I couldn't think of those words until after I picked it. So there you go. It's just one of those deals. It's a muscle memory kind of a thing, except of course it's the big muscle up here, but it is kind of a muscle memory type thing. Jimmy Rogers. There you go. I knew I could think of it. Did anybody write that down? I didn't see anybody write it down, but that was who did that. Jimmy Rogers. Great tune. All right, now this is I like this tune a lot. This is another slow one, but this one does have 4 chords. So it's 1, 4, 5, but it also has a 2 in it. So 1, 2, 4, 5. So we're going to do this one in D also. So D is 1, G is 4 again. Your A is your 5 down below it. And then your 2 will be your E here. Let's see here. This one's called Some Old Day. This is a really good song. Lots of people, I think this is a song that a lot of people like when they hear it. And it's an old bluegrassy type tune. I've been working out in the rain, tied to a dirty old ball and chain. Oh, dear mother, I'll come home some old day. Some sweet day they'll turn me loose from this dirty old calaboose. Oh, dear mother, I'll come home some old day. Some old day you'll wait for me and pray. Oh, dear mother, I'll come home some old day. Some sweet day they'll turn me loose from this dirty old calaboose. Oh, dear mother, I'll come home some old day. Now, somebody would play this first half. I'm going to just attempt it. dear mother, I hurt you so, and I've been cruel to you, I know. Oh, dear mother, I'll come home some old day. Some sweet day no, I messed that up. Tell my brother, sister, and dad that they're the best friends that I've had. Oh, dear mother, I'll come home some old day. Some old day, you'll wait for me and pray. Oh, dear mother, I'll come home some old day. Some sweet day they'll turn me loose from this dirty old calaboose. Oh, dear mother, I'll come home some old day. Yes, dear mother, I'll come home some old day. Yep. Yeah, I don't know if there's a delay or what, but somebody's now saying Jimmy Rogers now, and I'm going, I just said that a little bit ago. It may be a delay, I'm not sure. Anyway, I'm going to do that second verse again because I've messed it up, and I think it's the cool verse anyway. Oh, dear mother, I've hurt you so, and I've been cruel to you, I know. Oh, dear mother, I'll come home some old day and tell my brother, sister, and dad that they're the best friends that I've had. Oh, dear mother, I'll come home some old day. Some old day, you'll wait for me and pray. Oh, dear mother, I'll come home some old day. Some sweet day they'll turn me loose from this dirty old calaboose. Oh, dear mother, I'll come home some old day. Yes, dear mother, I'll come home some old day. Well, I didn't mess it up quite as bad the second time. Let's see. But that is a good old song. Lots of people really like that old song. The old timers, especially in the bluegrass circles, especially. It's more of a bluegrass tune than country tune, I guess you'd say. Let's see. This next one is just a great tune. You've heard me do it a couple of times on the channel. It's by the Chapmans are the only ones I've ever heard do it. I don't know who wrote the song. It's called The Photograph. We're going to do this in A. Now, this one's a little trickier. Like I said, we're getting into the challenge tunes now. This one's in A, which is 1. Then it's going to go straight to a 2 minor, which will be your B minor. Then it'll probably go to your 5 up here, like that. And then, and it also, in the chorus, it also has a 6 minor, which will be a F sharp minor in this case. So 1, 4, 5, it has the 2 minor, so that's a B minor, and then it has your 6 minor, which is your F sharp minor. All you do to make a minor is just drop the finger back 1 fret. The top, your pointing finger, just drop it back 1 fret. And I say that's all you got to do. I know it's difficult for a lot of people, but most of the thing about minors is how you hold your fingers. You notice I've got mine in a line like this, not like this. I'm not like that. I'm like this. I've got them in a line coming down the neck. And that makes it a lot easier to pull the finger back because you're just pulling it back instead of spreading it out. So I hope that makes sense. But anyway, here we go. This one's in A. I've got to hand it to you. Really slow. You've got a great attitude. B minor. You keep that gleam in your eye much better than I when the chips are down. It always shows on your face. That look just gives it away. Guess that's the beauty of you, your love shining through on the darkest day. Here we go. You don't ever stop smiling. You don't ever look like anything's gone wrong. You're there on my wall to remind me of all the love we had. I just look at you there. Oh, and sometimes I swear I hear you say everything is okay. It'll be all right. Wish I had your point of view. See things the way that you do. 'Cause it ain't all black and white. Just living my life and missing you. You don't ever stop smiling. You don't ever look like anything's gone wrong. You're there on my wall to remind me of all the love we had. You don't ever stop smiling. You don't ever look like anything's gone wrong. You're there on my wall to remind me of all the love we had. Anyway, that song is really not that difficult. It's because it's so slow, but you just have to put in that minor, and then on that chorus you jump all the way up to that F sharp minor, and then back down to the D, and then I think back to the E again after that. But anyway, let's do that chorus one more time because that's the trickiest part of the song. You don't ever stop smiling. You don't ever look like anything's gone wrong. You're there on my wall to remind me of all the love we had. No, you don't ever stop smiling. You don't ever look like anything's gone wrong. You're there on my wall to remind me of all the love we had. Okay, yeah, that, and Kim says that's a beautiful song. It really is a beautiful song. It's just super well written. You know, again, there's so much between the lines of a well-written song. You know, they don't tell you every single thing. They imply lots of things, and you can just build the picture in your mind. So when you're writing a song like that, those are the kinds of things you need to be thinking about. Do you need to say every single detail? Usually gets a little wordy, a little weird sounding when you do that. You want to try to write the song about the situation, if you will, you know, and leave some of it up to the imagination. All right, well, the last song is definitely a challenge song as well. It's a song that I wrote called Phantom 614. It's in the key of A minor, or at least that's your first key. So your first chord. And so that's your 1 minor. So it's like this. Now, it's fairly simple on the mandolin in the sense that all you're doing is dropping down to the G, which is your 7 in this case. Then you're just dropping down to your F. Now, you could play your F up here if you prefer. It doesn't matter. It's just that I'm going to do it down here. It gives you a little fuller sound, I think. So, and then it goes to the E. The advantage of playing the F up here is because the F and the E are right next to each other. So if you went to the F here, you could just drop down to the E. And you get the same thing. So I just do it the other way. Now this is a fast song. And by the way, just in case you're keeping score, so you got your 1, your 7, then believe it or not, your F is actually a 5.5. It's in between the 5 and the 6. And then you drop down to your 5. So you're going at that 5.5 to a 5. So that's what it is, in case you care. So anyway, here we go. It's I actually had to write the first words of each verse down because I get this one tangled up. I don't ever do this song, but it's still a good song to practice because it'll help you get better on your fretboard. I'm going to try to do it reasonably slow because it's tricky. You've heard a song about a horse or two. Well, here's one more, and I swear it's true. The finest horse you've ever seen, and his name was Phantom 614. A proud young stallion with head held high, his coat like satin under candlelight, his mane and tail, oh how they sheen. His name was Phantom 614. Though just a young man at the time, I knew that one day he'd be mine, and I would ride there like a king upon the back of 614. But the trainer said, son, he can't be rode. Now stay away, boy, or you'll be thrown. He said, that horse, he's just plain mean. His name is Phantom 614. Well, that horse and I, our souls were one, and without any fear I climbed up on the back of that horse they said was mean. His name was Phantom 614. A one-man horse to me proved true, and the people would stare as we'd ride through, a sight which few have ever seen. His name was Phantom 614. His name was Phantom 614. Anyway, that was the one I wrote, and that's a true story about the horse named Phantom 614. And I know you're probably thinking, there's no way you had a horse named Phantom 614, but I did. So whether you believe it or not, I did. He was, I wanted to name him, he was, you've heard this story before, most of you anyway, but he was such a different kind of horse. A little bit kind of like Oliver is to JR, if you've been watching that series. You know, Oliver and JR just kind of bonded. Well, that's the way this horse was with me, except that he was just about as mean as they get in a lot of ways, except that he bonded with me. And he was a stallion, and a very proud stallion, as the song says. He was one of those that had his head up, and he was prancing, and he was ready to go. And, you know, and if anybody was riding him around mares and things like that, well, he would do what they call take the studs. That's just a slang term for meaning that he's acting like a stallion and he's wanting to breed a mare, you know, basically is what it amounts to. And so he would just go nuts, you know, and if my dad was riding him especially, it was just World War III. I mean, they were fighting and whipping and beating and screaming and cussing and everything, you know, and bucking. I mean, this horse was something else. I'd get on him. I could ride him right up next to any mare, didn't matter, and he might once in a blue moon kind of like that, just kind of snicker under his breath, and I'd just say, settle down, Phantom, just take it easy, and he just listened to me. I had no trouble with him at all. And I guess I was in the range of 16, 17. I don't think I was 18 yet, somewhere in that range. I know I was driving because I remember hauling him around at different places. But anyway, he won the world model horse competition for the Foxtrotter breed. And back then, those were big deals. I mean, the breed has fallen off a lot in this day and time. But back in the, 70s, the foxtrotting breed was up and coming and doing very well. And people were coming in from pretty much every state in the union to go to the big world championship show. So to win that with all the horses there, it was a big deal. And he was that beautiful. I mean, like you couldn't take your eyes off of him. Any place I would ride that horse, everybody, it was just like that old E.F. Hutton commercial, and I'm not exaggerating. It was just like that. Wherever like they'd say E.F. Hutton and everybody'd stop, and listen. Then that old commercial, it was like it got your attention. Well, that's the way he was. When you rode through, everybody just stopped and they just watched him. They couldn't help themselves. He was that gorgeous, And as you already know, this story doesn't end well. I came home from school. I was in high school. I was, I think, a senior probably by that point. So I might have been 18. I can't remember, honestly. Came home from school, and on Mom and Dad's front porch, there was a not brand new, but very near new, large motorcycle. One of the big ones, like at least a 700 size type motorcycle. It was at least that big, maybe bigger, and nearly new. And I'm going, where did that come from? Their front porch, by the way, was a concrete front porch, and it was pretty much level with the driveway, and you could ride right up on it, and anyway on that concrete. Well, it was parked up under that awning, and I go, who would do that? Where did that come from? So I go in the house, change my clothes, I head down to the barn, and as I'm going into the barn, I see there's like 500 new bales of hay in the barn. I'm going, where did that come from? Because usually if there's hay in the barn, I put it there. I'm going, where did that come from? So then I start walking, and Dad's barn was weird in that he had a riding ring inside the barn, and the stalls were in the middle. And so you rode around them, kind of like JR's barn is designed, and I'm sure he got that off of my dad. And you ride around it, but Dad had a lot more stalls. So I'm going down and stall after stall. Well, there's 2 brand new horses in these stalls. And I'm going, where did all this stuff come from? Where did these 2 new horses come from, So I get back, I go around and turn the corner, and I'm on the backside now going this way. And I could see from a distance, my stall door was standing open. So I knew there wasn't any point in going down there because I knew what had happened, and I knew where all this stuff came from. And I don't think I ever said a word to him about it. It was just one of those things I was kind of used to. But that was the last horse I ever really rode seriously. After that, I just didn't do it anymore. But I don't know. I was just aggravated because it had happened so many times in my life. That's where that came from. But anyway, that's why I wrote that song, I guess. Let's see. Ronald Todd was the first one in there today, and Vic Flowers says good evening from Duncanville, Texas, and Dottie's in there. Thank you, Dottie, for that donation on PayPal. I really do appreciate it very, very much. If anybody does want to do that, you can do a super chat right there by clicking that $, or you can send me an email via PayPal. You can send money via PayPal and go straight into my account. And then let's see. Kim Williford says, hello, Jerry. I enjoy this song along with you so much. Thank you. Well, thank you. Let's see. Slim Whitman, Ronald Todd said, nope, it wasn't Slim Whitman. It was, the guy we said a while ago. can't remember names. It's a curse. I cannot remember them, man. It just drives me nuts. It does. You would not believe how it drives me crazy. Let's see. Moving on down. Brian Biscup. Good evening from Brian Biscup in Elgin, Illinois. Well, good evening to you. Looks like we got 43 people on here, which is about par typically. The Singing Brakemen, yeah, and Jimmy Rogers. That reminded me of his name when you said that. I cannot think of names. It kills me. Let's see. Bronson Taylor. Hello, Jerry, from Pikeville, Kentucky, home of Hatfield and McCoy. Feud. Love your channel. Long-time fan. Well, thank you, Bronson. I appreciate you commenting there, and thanks for watching. We really do appreciate it. And then Ronald says Jimmy Rogers there. Like I said, I think we must be on a delay or something because I had already said it quite a while before his comment popped up. But it doesn't matter. Just let's see. Moving on down, looking there. Kim Williford, I love the song, The Photograph. Well, thanks. That's just a great song. Well, really, every one of those songs are really good in their own right. Every one of them. Well, I'm accepting the one that I write but it's a good song to me. I don't know about the rest of it. Let's see. Kim Williford says, beautiful song, and I think she was talking about the Photograph. Let's see. David Sutter. Great choices for the songs tonight. Thank you. I'm trying not to duplicate the ones in the play-along. Now, it doesn't mean we didn't already play them like in the training, if you remember the training sessions. Those, we may be duplicating some of those, but in these play-alongs, I'm trying to get different songs every night. And so next week, I'll have 4 or 5 more different ones. Dottie says, good song. Ronald says, I've never seen anyone play it like that before. I got all kinds of lines for that one. I know where I know you heard me say that because it was from, and I can't think his name. It's terrible. It's just horrible. But anyway, the thing about never seeing anybody do it like that before is because I don't do it the right way. That's 3/4 of it. Kim Williford, great song. Well, thank you. Let's see. Kim says, Jerry, I understand about that. I've had so many horses sold out from under me. It's not funny. I hate it so much. Yeah, I got used to it. Trust me, I got used to it. But he was such a different horse. Every horse got sold out from underneath me. I had a little trick horse named Little Fellow. This was when I was pretty small, and the mother died on this. He was a little stallion, and his mother died when he was just a tiny baby, and it stunted his growth, and he never got very big. And even though we bottle fed him and everything, he just didn't get very big. But he was bigger than like a Shetland pony, but he wasn't as big as a full-size horse, if you understand my point. Kind of like a hackney, or isn't that what they call him, a hackmore? I don't even remember anymore. It's been too long. But anyway, it was one of those kind of like half-size horses, if you will. But I had him trained to do every trick in the book. I mean, that little horse was so smart, and he would just do anything. I could be anywhere, and I'd say, little fella, go get in your stall. And he'd take off, and we could be 300 yards away, and he'd take off running, and he'd go get in his stall, And I had him trained where he'd rear up, and he'd put his front feet on my shoulders. I don't know. He'd lay down, roll over. I don't know. He'd stand up on a box. Just all kinds of things like that. So, and I came home from school one day, and guess what happened? I didn't see him anymore. But, when you work that hard on a horse, you hate to see him go like that. Yeah, Dottie says, when Oliver accepts JR, just tells him to stop it. Yep. Yeah, and, when you're really in tune with a horse like that, they'll listen to you just like a dog will listen to you if you got a well-trained dog. I love those dogs, though, that they say, oh, he won't bite you while he's munching on your pants leg. He won't bite you. He won't bite you. And you can't even get him off your pants, But, if you got a well-trained horse, they'll just listen to you. I mean, I would say the vast majority of them are not that well-trained, the vast majority. But there's a few rare ones that really do get trained to that extent where they just listen to you almost like a dog. And anyway, that was kind of, in Phantom, it was one of those deals where I didn't really have to train him for all that. He just kind of took to me for some reason. I think it was because I didn't ever hit him. I mean, I just talked to him. And I've said this before too, as wild and as high-strung as he was, I could literally put a little child on him and feel perfectly safe as long as I was there, leading him around or holding him or whatever. He wouldn't do nothing. And you could put a little tiny child on him and then just lead him around. He'd just be fine. No problem at all. But you put my dad on him. It was funny, man. I'm seriously telling you, it was completely different. Just like it was a different horse. Well, let's see. Sam Bush, yeah. Thanks, Ron. Yeah, I couldn't think. It's stupid. I just can't think of it. Ron says, great job tonight. Well, thank you, guys. I guess that's it. I'm just jawing now, so at least you know why I wrote the song. And we will see you tomorrow afternoon about 1 o'clock with something else. And I don't know what that'll be, but we'll come up with something. See you then.